There is a massive amount of audio solutions available for streamers and content creators who are just starting out and might not have a lot of money. That's good for us. More options means more competition and lower prices, but it can be overwhelming, and if you're funding your setup personally, finding out you wasted your money really stinks. We've looked at a few of the minimalist audio options available to streamers, so we're going to add another to that list with the Fifine AM8, a USB XLR microphone that is specifically aimed at streamers and content creators. And for the record, Fifine did reach out to me and they did send me this microphone at no cost. The AM8 is currently priced at about $54.99 at Amazon, and benefits from Prime shipping means free and fast, assuming you're in the US, and that's a really good deal. Inside the box, you find the microphone, a USB-C to USB-A cable, the stand, the included foam cover, and that's pretty much it. It's worth noting that even though this is an XLR microphone, there isn't one included. But the USB-C cable is obviously enough to get you started, but you just be aware of that if you're buying this specifically for the XLR interface. Pulling the mic out of the box, the first thing I noticed was the weight. Most microphones I've ever owned were usually fully made of metal, but the body of the AM8 is made of plastic. That's not a bad thing, and for $55 you can't expect a full metal body, and the AM8 looks and feels just as professional and sturdy as any other microphone I've ever used. It just isn't metal. A lot of higher end microphones are built like tanks, given there's a possibility that you might be using them for like a live show or touring. Assuming this microphone will be living on your desk, I wouldn't worry too much about the plastic body. The arm that is attached to the microphone is metal though, giving a slight amount of heft to the AM8 and gives it a really nice feel when you have it mounted to an arm or on the stand on your desk. Adding the microphone to my existing boom arm was really easy. The lightness ended up actually being a benefit because I often have trouble keeping my arm in place because of how heavy most microphones are. But because the AM8 is so light, anytime I would adjust the arm, it would just stay in place. And that's a super nice benefit that I really wasn't expecting. It has both USB and XLR outputs, which are great for people who are just getting started in the world of content creation. If you're just starting out, you can use the USB input. It's plug and play. You just plug it in and you're good to go. But down the line, if you want to start adding to your setup, maybe you're making some upgrades and you want to add an audio interface or a mixer, you have that option. On the bottom of the microphone, you also have 3.5mm audio out, which can be used both to monitor your audio from the microphone as well as a standard audio output for your computer. A lot of people like using this feature as it means you don't have to connect your headphones all the way to the back of your PC, and it gives you less cables to get tangled up on your desk. There are two knobs on the front of the microphone. One controls gain, or the volume of your microphone. The other controls the volume of the audio output, so what's coming through your headphones. You also get a touch-sensitive button on the top that lets you cycle through the RGB color profiles. It's pretty standard stuff. You get a rainbow effect and quite a few solid colors. While recording, I really couldn't get a good shot of the RGB, so my camera does not do the lighting justice. It really is pretty vibrant and smooth, and I think the rainbow effect looks particularly awesome. Along the bottom, you'll find another touch-sensitive button for muting the microphone. I like this because it's got a big, bright red light when the mic is muted, so you'll never have to worry about fumbling around to find out if your mic is muted or not. It's a feature I've always loved, and after having it, I really can't live without it. I won't even suggest using a mic that doesn't have this feature. We've worked through most of the stuff, so let's get to some sound tests. So we're doing a sound test with the Fifine AM8, and as you can tell, the sound is really warm. It's minimal on the plosives thanks to the built-in pop filter. I've got the gain turned up. It's a little under halfway, and I'm a little bit closer than 6 inches, but it still is really helpful with the plosives. And I'm getting really good volume out of it. I like to be a little bit closer to the microphone, and I know that's, at the sake of audio quality, but it's just kind of how I do things. I like having it right in front of me. So I like to turn it down, and we're going to get a little background noise going here with some typing and see how that sounds. So I'm typing right now on some linear switches. They are Kinetic Lab Huskies, but I don't really think that makes much of a difference. And I think they sound, it's really hard to hear them, which I think is great. Okay, so we've got the microphone turned quite a bit down. It's literally just off the zero as far as the gain goes, which obviously means you got to be, pretty close to the microphone. I tend not to like it this low, and of course you're gonna get plosives kind of no matter what at this close to the microphone. But I just want to give a test of background noise. When you're this low, just in case that might be something you need to pay attention to. So this is background noise. This is me typing again on a linear switch mechanical keyboard. And I'm going to go ahead and start typing now without any audio or me talking. So yeah, that's the background noise. I think it cancels out background noise really well. We're going to go ahead and bring it back up to about a quarter gain here. And yeah, this microphone, of course, is very feature rich. You can see the mute light right here. Obviously, of course, it's green right now because it's unmuted. But it's very easy to get to. It's very easy to see out of the corner of your eye. A lot of microphones have this. It isn't, like a groundbreaking feature or anything. But it's nice to have it. It's nice to have it so easily accessible and easily visible. I can see it just out of the corner of my eye, and I know whether or not my microphone is muted. Of course, all it takes is the press of a button and you're muted. And with another quick press of the button, you're back to speaking. And again, having that light just kind of always in the corner of my eye is always a great reminder, just in case I'm supposed to be muted and I'm not. And then, of course, this RGB, the camera picking it up doesn't really do it justice. I've always kind of had a hard time shooting RGB, but the RGB is pretty vibrant. I've got it on the rainbow setting right now. And for those that are into having the RGB, I think it's a really nice addition. Of course, it's got a button on the other side here that lets you cycle through some colors. But if you're the kind of person who doesn't like RGB or don't need it, you just long press on that button and you no longer have RGB. And of course, without the RGB, it gives, a really sleek professional look that's, acceptable for Zoom calls or professional meetings, job interviews, that sort of thing. So yeah, the microphone sounds really amazing, especially when you figure in pricing of just under $55. I've even seen it listed on Amazon for as low as $45. It's hard to beat the quality and the professional look that the Fifine AM8 provides. With the RGB cycling, it can give you that ultra elite gaming setup vibe that can really take your Twitch streams to the next level. But if you want something a little more professional for home office use or even a podcast studio, all you need to do is shut the RGB off and you've got a setup worthy of the next big podcast. There isn't much to dislike here. I do wish the attached arm had a way to adjust left and right. There isn't as much of a problem when you're using it on the provided stand, but if you're using a boom arm, it can be a little bit trickier. But thankfully, the mic is light enough that it stays in place well. But other than that, there is nothing I dislike about this microphone. It's a great pickup for those on a budget and might not be looking to drop an arm and a leg on a microphone. It's also worth noting that Fifine seems to have a pretty extensive product lineup. If their interfaces and other microphones are half as good as the AM8, they've got a really solid lineup, and I look forward to checking out some of the other stuff that they have. That's going to do it for today. I've been taking a bit of a break, but expect new videos to be coming around now that I'm back in the swing of things. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to stay connected to things I'm doing. And don't forget to leave a comment and let me know what you think. I'll catch you guys in the next one.